What is up, besties, and welcome back to my channel. My name is Scotty Holiday. I'm a queer creator and a huge Star Wars nerd, so if you're into either one of those things, please consider subscribing for more and following me on social media at Scotty Holiday SW for all my latest Star Wars content. Today I want to talk about the newly announced Star Wars Outlaws game, what we know so far, and give my thoughts on it as well. Let me know your thoughts down in the comments below and make sure to like the video as well. So let's go ahead and start off with the facts. Star Wars Outlaws is a single-player, third-person action-adventure game marketed as the first open-world Star Wars game set for release in 2024. Now this game is going to be for next-gen consoles and PC, and it's going to be set between The Empire Strikes Back and Return of the Jedi. So some of my initial thoughts after viewing the first cinematic trailer, the quote that came to mind was, "The Empire are everywhere, but the world here belongs to the syndicates." And I feel like this really conveys like a dark and gritty tone and really sets the stage for what this game is going to be, or what it's trying to be. But I can't lie, I did have to roll my eyes when I saw we were getting another game in the Imperial era. Julian Garrity, Massive Entertainment's creative director, was asked and explained that they chose this time frame for Outlaws since, according to them, it's the perfect time to tell an original scoundrel story that will resonate with fans. With the Galactic Empire on the heels of the Rebel Alliance and the criminal underworld thriving, an outlaw like Kay Vess has the whole galaxy of opportunity in front of her. One thing that really stood out to me is that we see Han Solo's body arriving at Jabba's palace, accompanied by 2 Gamorrean guards and even Jabba himself. And of course, this automatically made me wonder if we're gonna get any kind of tie-ins to Crimson Dawn, Kira, and the War of the Bounty Hunters comic series, but I'm not getting my hopes up, unfortunately. Now, another thing I noticed in the trailer was the locations, environments, and species all look super diverse, and on top of that, all the locations looked super lived in, which I love. It's those little details that just make a game so much more immersive. Now, after watching the gameplay trailer, we learned a couple new things about the game as well. The game seems to have a main storyline or main quest with available side quests from the different locations you can visit. It looks like the game will mainly focus on blaster combat, which you will hopefully be able to upgrade throughout the game. There is a workbench seen on Kay Vess's ship, possibly for blaster customization, so I wonder if maybe the ship is going to act as like a hub. I also noticed there's a reputation marker which will change depending on your actions and choices within the game. In the gameplay trailer, when Kay Vess is speaking with Danka, the Mon Calamari, and an Imperial officer, she has the option to bribe or not bribe, and this whole reputation marker kind of reminded me of the Grand Theft Auto games. And I really like this implementation of a reputation marker in the game, because I think that just really fits with the theme so well. Like, you'll build your reputation with certain syndicates or certain groups, your reputation will decrease with certain groups depending on if you mess up or how good you do on the job, so I think that's going to be really fun. We also see that there's going to be space combat, and we get to see a little bit of this in the gameplay trailer as well. Now, I'm not a huge gamer, like the only games I really even play are Star Wars games, so this is just my opinion based off of Jedi Survivor, but in comparison, the graphics in this game don't look as great as I would have expected them to, but that is something that could get better, of course, between now and the release. This is only the first time we're seeing anything from the game, but right now, graphics looked okay. The next thing I want to talk about is the characters that we see in the game. Obviously, we have our main character, Kay Vess. The character is described as a scoundrel seeking freedom and means to start a new life. Now, Kay Vess is played by Umberly Gonzalez, who seems to really love the character and the role, with Umberly saying, "Kay is a thief and scoundrel, charming and fearless." Kay is new into the underworld and being a scoundrel, and while she's not the best at it, she always gets away with it. Kay has to survive because no one else will save her, unless it's herself. The closest thing she has to feeling like a part of something is Nyx. Now, I have to say right off the bat, and I feel like a lot of people are going to take this negatively, but Kay reminds me of a combination of the Martez sisters from the Clone Wars Season 7 and the Bad Batch. She feels more mature and a little more rough around the edges in a good way. I like the comparison. I like the character traits that I see both in the Martez sisters and Kay Vess, but I know a ton of people are going to complain because they hate the Martez sisters. I'm excited to see it in a more mature, like I said, rough around the edges kind of vibe with Kay Vess. While I think Kay has the best intentions, she doesn't seem like she's afraid to pull out her blaster if need be, so we'll have to see where that gets her, and with that reputation marker, there's so many different ways that it could go. The next character I want to talk about is Nyx. Now, Nyx is like the token cute character of this game. Everybody's talking about Nyx. I like the character design. I'm not huge into the, oh my god, cute character, like I love that. Nyx is also voiced by D. Bradley Baker, and I say voiced because I don't think we're actually going to hear Nyx talk. Nyx also can be seen in the trailer used kind of like a companion to attack, distract, or complete tasks alongside Kay, which I think is a really fun idea, especially because it's not your traditional kind of companion character. The next character we have is ND5, or ND for short, who is our BX commando droid in a trench coat. Now, some people are saying that he's hot, and while I don't disagree, I definitely think he has this kind of smooth, cool, calm, and charming kind of vibe to him, and I really like the idea of this reprogrammed BX droid in a trench coat. Like, he's just got a really cool vibe, and I mean, I guess to some people it's sexy, so I love it. In general, I just love that the prequel droids are showing up in more Star Wars media as of late. We've got them in Jedi Survivor, we got them in The Mandalorian Season 3, and obviously I'm a prequel baby, so I love this and I love seeing their inclusion, but it's just cool to finally see things from earlier in the timeline show up later in the timeline, you know what I mean? A more mysterious character that we also meet in only one of the trailers is Jaylen. Jaylen is the one who appears on Kay's ship offering her a way out, and they seem to be familiar with each other, but we don't see him again in any of the additional trailers. Now, I've seen people online theorizing that Jaylen could be Kyle Katarn from the Dark Forces and Jedi Outcast games, but I don't know, because I don't know the character that well. I do see the visual. Jaylen looks like Kyle Katarn, and I think that'd be a cool connection and a way to bring him into canon, because it's a character a lot of people have a lot of nostalgia for and really like. Another character that we meet, and this is more of probably a minor character, I'm assuming, but it's Danka, who is a Mon Calamari who kind of reminds me of Sid from The Bad Batch, where Kay's reporting back to her about a quest or a mission. But I'm curious also as to why both her and Sid kind of have these like New York smoker type voices. Donka's is like really intense. They're like, hey Kay, this isn't a toy. I love it, but I'm like, why do all our like crime ladies have to sound like old smokers, you know what I mean, from like Long Island? Because not all crime people talk like that, at least I assume, but who knows. So speaking of crime lords and syndicates, the three that are confirmed for the game are the Hutt Clan, the Pike Syndicate, and a new syndicate created for the game called the Ashiga Clan. The fact that we're going to be focusing on, you know, the crime lords, the underworld of Star Wars, I think that's really fun, and it's something new that we haven't delved a ton into, other than, I guess, the Book of Boba Fett, which, speaking of, I'm glad that the Pike's live action appearance looks the same in this game that it did in the Book of Boba Fett. Like I said, the crime world is something we don't see a ton of. I know it's something that George Lucas wanted to add more into with kind of the show that he was starting to make before he sold to Disney, and then of course we had other games like 1313, which we're going to kind of explore the Star Wars underworld as well, so I'm glad we're actually getting that. And then of course, because of the timeline, we're going to have the Empire and the Rebel Alliance. As I said, cool. One of the most exciting parts about this game is the fact that it's going to be the Star Wars open world game. So we got to talk about what locations we're going to see in the game. So the first location that's actually confirmed is Kijimi from The Rise of Skywalker, and we see it in the trailer. It's very clearly Kijimi. Another confirmed planet in the game is Akiva, which is actually from the Aftermath trilogy books. Akiva is a remote, outer rim jungle planet, and it was actually a part of the CIS during the Clone Wars. For fans of the Aftermath trilogy, I'm sure they are very excited for this planet. Another planet that's confirmed is Toshara, which is the planet we see in the gameplay trailer, which is new for the game, which has the settlement of Janta's Hope. I liked the vibe, it looked cool, I'm excited to check it out as well. Now, of course, it can't be a Star Wars anything without the inclusion of Tatooine, which Tatooine's not confirmed, but there's scenes of a planet that looks very much like Tatooine, and we see Jabba the Hutt. Jabba ain't going anywhere other than his palace. Tatooine's like not confirmed, but most likely definitely gonna be in it. And then another planet which is more speculated, which there's tons of planets that people are speculating about, but the one that stood out to me was it looks like we might actually go to Canto Bight. There's a couple scenes that look very similar to how Canto Bight looked in The Last Jedi, so I like that we're going to be exploring these planets. Hopefully there's some prequel planets in there, but we'll just have to wait and see. On top of prequel planets, because the Pikes are a part of this, we may even be able to go to Obadiah, their homeworld, or Kessel, where the spice mines are. That would make sense, but nothing is confirmed as of yet. So some of my hopes and potential concerns about the game, I would love if it tied into the War of the Bounty Hunters comic series or the subsequent series about Crimson Dawn and Kira. I love Kira, I love Emilia Clarke's performance as her, and I love everything that was set up at the end of Solo that we unfortunately have yet to get anything more of. Why they wouldn't be included in a game about the underworld, who knows? I don't have my hopes up for it, but if you're not going to continue Solo, give us more Kira elsewhere. Now, Umberly Gonzalez, the actor playing Kay Vess, is queer, and I think it'd be really great if the character was also a queer character. We'll see if it happens. Does it really matter? No, but representation. We love to see it. And then, of course, we've already seen people online complaining about the fact that it's a female protagonist, saying there's no more men in Star Wars, or, oh, why can't I have the option to play as a man? Well, go play Jedi Survivor if you want to play as a man. Get over it. Don't be a misogynist. Enjoy the story that's being told. Simple as that. So I have to be honest, I was intrigued by the cinematic trailer, but it wasn't until I watched the gameplay trailer that I got a little more interested in the game, which is probably why I've also waited to do a video about it, because I wasn't sure if it was something that I would be into. And I'm still not sure, but I'm gonna give it a try, because not only is it Star Wars, but it's the first Star Wars open world game, which in itself is really exciting, and it's a new Star Wars game in general by someone other than EA. And I'm interested to see what somebody else can do in the Star Wars sandbox, so I'm definitely going to be checking it out. Let me know if you plan on playing Star Wars Outlaws and what planets you hope to see included in the game in the comments below, or hit me up on Twitter or Discord so we can keep the conversation going together. Make sure to subscribe to my channel and consider following me on social media at ScottyHolidaySW for all my latest Star Wars content. Thank you all so much for watching, and as always, may the Force be with you.